Welcome to a Valiant Effort podcast. I'm your host with the toast, Steven. Oh, we have a very special guest today on this episode. My older brother, Marty.
Howdy.
Howdy there, brother. Unfortunately, Ryan couldn't make it today because he had to work. A little bit of a cuckold.
Yep.
We have a new segment, though. Saturday morning coffee. Thank you for being here. And we're going to have different topics on this segment that we talk about. And today, it's drum fills. So, there's a lot of great drum fills in this world.
Wow. What a beautiful one there. Huh?
Yes, that is a good one.
So,
let's break it down. Drum fills is what we're talking about today. What is a drum fill? It's just a little section in a song that brings you in to a new part, a new section at the end of a measure where the drummer just kind of does his own thing and adds his flair. Is that fair? Is that fair to say?
Fair. Yeah. It is the guitar solo of drums in a lot of ways, right? So, and what I love about a drum fill and what this segment truly is about is it's just those ankle break and, make your knees quiver type parts of a song that
Shaking
might only
your
be
boots.
5 seconds long, but we'll end up getting you to listen to
Less.
the song over and again. And maybe even the album, or get into an artist because of a single drum fill that can do that. So
Yes.
I think
there's
this,
definitely some on this list that we've...
oh my gosh, yes. This list is insane. And we weren't setting out to make a top 10 or anything. I think we were just looking for the things that we'd heard throughout the last few months that were just, that had to be on this drum fills list. So I would call it drum fills that make you quiver from the emo, pop punk, Midwest rock scene. You think that's fair?
That's fair. That's exactly what we're going for here.
Do we have a video title? Maybe we do.
We do. Emo,
All
pop
right.
punk, Midwest drum fills. Because that's the genre
Maybe that
we
needs
were
some
kind of
work.
targeting. That's the genre we were targeting
Yes.
when we made this video. We set out this morning, made a list, drank our coffee.
And here we are.
Here we are. So, we're going to go back and revisit this one we just heard in the intro. Because this is another guest that's been on the podcast, very near and dear to the podcast. Prince Daddy and the Hyena, Corey Gregory, the lead singer, has made an appearance on this podcast, done a little interview, and it was a great episode.
Mm-hmm.
So
my favorite
it's
episode so far, I'd say, that I listened to.
It's a good way to start. It's a good way to start this drum fill list because this drum fill hits. It hits, and it's not standard or cliche, but it's traditional. It's a traditional drum fill, rock drum fill that they just hit right. So let's give this a listen back and really appreciate what Prince Daddy has done with this drum fill. Oh yeah,
That's nice.
that's it.
He really
That's-
drills those toms, man.
Yes.
Oh man, that's just it to me. It it grabs me right in my spine, Just
Yeah.
da-da. So beautiful, and that is
Great.
I don't think we said it yet. That's 44 seconds into Lauren track 2 off of Cosmic's Thrill Seeking Forever, Prince Daddy's newest album, which is extremely hype. And
Cosmic Thrill Seekers, yes.
did I say forever?
Yes, but it's okay.
Okay,
Cosmic Thrill Seekers. Prince Daddy and the Hyena.
Huh, okay.
Great little album there. Definitely recommend.
Hell yeah.
Any fan of the podcast knows that we support this band, we support this album because they make great music,
Oh,
like we just heard.
Let's get right into the next one, huh?
Yeah, let's do
The
it.
next one happens. It's a Mom Jean song that I'm sure we all know well. Sobs Quietly at 1 minute and 28 seconds.
Here we go.
I love this album, by the way. Best Buds is a classic.
Yes, another classic.
Are they out of
These
California?
guys.
Is that where they're from?
I would think no.
No.
It's their sound is very Midwest, so but it's possible.
Just about to look it up.
Possible. So yeah, let's hear it. Oh yeah.
Jeez. I mean, that's the drop you're talking about. He put that guitar drop on a silver platter and said, just, take this platform I've given you to just, unleash on your guitar. And I mean, that's part of the great thing about these fills.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
The tempo, too.
One thing that I definitely like about this fill specifically is it showcases how you don't want a lot of complex components coming together at the same time. So when they get complex with this drum fill, they get real simple with the guitar, and it's just dun dun, like they're just strumming some very basic chords over on top of it to let the drum fill be the highlight of this moment in the song. Let's hear it back one more time just to emphasize that.
I'm not going to say no.
Keeping it simple with the guitar. And it just sets it up for the home run. Gosh. Beautifully done by Imam.
Yeah.
Beautifully done.
Amazing.
All right, let's keep going with this list because we got a lot of songs that we got queued up here talking about, and I just want to keep going with it because drum fills are one of my favorite things.
So the next one, let's take this into a band that transcends kind of the scene that we've outlined here. They've definitely transcended into some. I mean, our parents know them, and that is Death Cab for Cutie with To the Ground at 4 minutes and 45 seconds in.
Yep, and this is off Death Cab's. I think it's their newest EP because I don't think they've dropped anything since then. It's the Blue EP. Very, very good album or EP. Would highly recommend it. And I think it's slipped under the radar for a lot of even Death Cab fans. Yeah. They didn't really quite catch this one.
Yeah, so, you brought this one to my attention. I wasn't a huge Death Cab. I wasn't super aware, but this makes the list by far.
And so one thing I like about this one too is there's so many ways to use a drum fill. You can and in this one they use it as a send-off. This is at the very end of the song. It's a very well articulated, thought out drum fill to just send out the song on a great note.
Yeah.
And it's right after a very big instrumental swelling buildup.
Okay.
That, it's already got your blood pumping from the buildup, and then they just end it on this very articulate drum fill.
And it's at the very end of the song, which is interesting too. So this is interesting.
Yeah. I'm gonna do a little bit before just to get some context on this buildup.
Okay.
And here we go.
Stop it, dude. That's insane.
Oh. It's the signature. He signed on the dotted line.
Oh, he sure did.
That's what the drummer did.
Signed, sealed, delivered.
With a kiss. Let's get that back one more time.
I like the tempo again. I think they slow it down. He slows it down and then brings it right back. Playing with the tempo as a drummer's that's their whole palette, and he does it so well here.
Yeah, he eases into it. He's not trying to just. He's methodical about which drums he's hitting at what times, and that I think is a very key component of a great drum fill. So one more time for you guys. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. Okay, so where to next? We've heard 3 very good drum fills right now.
Next.
All very different, that highlight different ways that drum fills can be used. So let's just keep going with it, and let's see where the next one takes us.
Heck yeah. The next one is one of my favorite bands out of this scene, Pup, with The Coast off their album The Dream Is Over, and this happens at 3 minutes in.
This was my favorite album. This was, I mean, years ago now. 2016, this was my number one album. Very, very near and dear to my heart. What's the time on this drum fill?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Because specifically this drum fill, this is one of the ones you mentioned earlier where the drum fill is what brings you on board.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I heard the whole song. This is a 3 minute in drum fill. So I listened to the whole song. I remember where I was walking, headphones in, what the day was like. And I heard this drum fill and it immediately captured me. I was like, yes, like that. This whole song basically is building to this one drum fill that just drops it on you.
Well, and I have that with Pup, but to me it's, and I think everyone has, in this album, the first song, second song transition from If This Tour Doesn't Kill You into DVP. I mean, that I remember the place I first heard that. Like these guys transcend normal music to me and have a spot cut into my heart. So let's give this a shot here, huh?
Here we go. This is Pup, The Coast.
Damn.
The way he's just playing with those toms.
Dude, the tom play is insane. That's tomfoolery.
That is tomfoolery.
Tomfoolery.
Let's listen to that back one more time, just because that one is heat. Yes.
Oh my gosh. And again, I mean, it's right into the vocal this time. Like, it's just on a platter. Take these vocals, what a beautiful song.
He set up Stefan, who is the lead vocalist of Pup. Yeah. He set up Stefan in such a way that I don't think it mattered what, as long as he was screaming or doing his, he has his unique vocal style. But as long as he was doing that, it didn't matter how he did it. It was going to sound amazing because the setup was just so perfect.
Yeah, beautiful drum fill.
Yes.
That is definitely up there for the number one on my list. We're not putting numbers to these, but that's up there. It might be my favorite on the list. So let's take a break. So we've given you 4, I believe. Yes, 4 so far. Let's take a break. And we had a lot of songs we ran into, Steve, here that we thought were sick. We thought the drums were sick, but we didn't really qualify them as a fill. They might have been the intro to the song. There might have been guitars over it or singing over it, but there was fill aspects and hardly something that they needed to make the list. Let's just say these drum segments needed to make this list, and we'll take a little sidebar to do that right here. So let's start with a tiny moving parts song known as Whale Watching. And the intro drums to this song are astounding.
And this is off their album Swell.
Okay.
Very, very good album. I like the whole thing. Basically, it made my top 10.
And I'm not
the year that came
super
out.
into tiny moving parts. Are they do they definitely get a little bit into math rock? Right? Is that?
Oh
definitely. That's a fair presumption. Okay.
Very math rocky band in terms of guitar and drums. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes you have those math rocky bands where it's a lot of guitar, like Twinkle. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have the drum math rock. These guys got it both.
Okay.
But this specific drum intro is one where the drummer he's putting his stamp on it immediately on this song. Okay. The drummer starts the song with just flexing. It's pure flex.
He welcomes you in with arms wide open, to name a Creed song. All right.
Okay, so here we go. This is Whale Watching, Tiny Moving Parts.
Oh.
How am I supposed to feel?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's
So,
great. So technical. I mean, I think drum of all the instruments, drumming is so technical. I mean, you are the heart and soul of the band, right? You are the tempo creator for the whole band, and but that speed and efficiency and the striking, it was, oh god, it's great. And when you can do it so musically impressively, because I'm no musician, it makes it all that much better. It's so unattainable for me to try that it's beauty in that aspect as well.
Yeah, it's just mind blowing. And this is another note, like the like Sobs Quietly, Mom Jean's song we listened to, where they keep the guitar real simple. All he's doing is just strumming chords and letting the drums take the reign.
Yeah.
The band is just saying, drummer, go off.
Send it.
And he does it.
Full send.
Full send. Full send. Let's see. You want to hear it one more time?
Yeah, let's give it back again.
Here we go.
Kind of want to listen to the whole song now.
How am I supposed to
It's a
feel?
goat. This is definitely my favorite song on Swell. So
I'll add it to one of my playlists. I'll have to dive in a little bit more.
yep.
Okay. So next in the wet but not quite a drum fill section, let's get the very beginning of the song "Eat Shit" by Remo Drive.
A great one. Shout out to Remo Drive.
Yeah.
These boys right up here.
I
We got
believe
the
they have a
poster.
new drummer now, though. So this is actually the old. This is not Sam Beck, right? Sam Beck is the
Yeah.
new drummer.
So this is the original drummer who, let's just say he's responsible for some of their greatest hits. The Remo Drive fans will catch that one. He's the drummer for the album Greatest Hits. And, you know, a lot of people, I would say a large majority of Remo Drive fans, that is their album
Their
that
favorite
they
album.
go to.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
with that said, Portrait of an Ugly Man is one of my favorite albums out of this year, up there with
definitely.
Pine Grove's new album, or I mean, it's not new anymore, but it's one of my absolute favorites. So, both drummers, I'm a huge love with, but this song and this intro in particular, it's just, it harkens back to an old day at Remo Drive, and it's awesome. So let's try it out.
It does. And just while I'm pulling this up, and not to sidebar on Remo Drive too much,
Hey,
but
this is a podcast about music, baby. We can sidebar anywhere we want to go.
but so Sam Becht,
Becht,
just
not
for some
Beck.
insight.
Okay.
Sam Becht, for some insight,
Can you
is
spell that?
their Becht, I
Okay.
believe.
Becht.
He is their newest drummer, and he is also on this list that we're doing today, but associated with a different band that we'll mention. We'll bring it up when we get there.
Interesting. Okay.
But it's also interesting
that's
to note
actually
that.
a surprise to me. And I helped make the list.
Oh, really? Well, so Sam Becht, great guy, great drummer. So there's definitely no hate on his drumming skills because he is a god among himself. But let's hear the original Remo Drive drummer just chop it up on this intro of Eat Shit. Yeah.
It's only a second and a half, but
Let's get that back a couple times just because it's a quick one, but it really just starts the song off right. Starts the song off hard with how they go into it.
I'm turning it up too for the fans because this is just insane.
It deserves it. Let's do it.
Wow.
I could just listen to that song.
I know. It's just like,
I could
man,
just keep.
like, let's just stop the podcast and
Yeah.
no, so awesome. I mean, honestly, I'm gonna look at this up. Let me. I need to give that man credit. We brought up Sam Beck, but we need to look at what the original drummer for that song is. Let's see here. Austin Voigt or Sam Mathis. Interesting. They had so Sam Mathis was the drummer for 2013 to 2014. Then Austin Voigt took over from 2014 to 2016. Then Sam Mathis came back in from 2016 to 2018, according to Wikipedia. So clearly they both played the drum fill or the drum intro. Who conceptualized it is anyone's guess. So,
how do you spell Mathis?
Mathys.
I. Okay. So yeah, so this I believe is.
But Steven, we don't need to get into some of this,
Okay.
No, I mean, like you got look at that. It said a drummer was kicked out. We don't have to get into the politics, the internal politics agreement.
I didn't mean to.
You're okay.
I didn't mean to. I was just trying to Google it.
Now we're talking about it. Maybe he was kicked out. Maybe he decided to leave. Now we don't know, but it's sick regardless.
I think he was kicked out, but
let's move on. Let's just.
He was the best drummer they've had so far.
Okay.
So
let's hot takes.
Interesting choice, Eric and Steven. But
all right. So the last
now, Eric
one,
and Steven, if you guys ever hear this, we'd love to have you on the podcast. But
ain't that
let's keep going. Yeah, what do we got next for the not quite drum fills, but worthy of talking about today?
Yeah. And I do want to mention this list was full when we were done with our brainstorming session. We had TTNG, La Dispute, Foxing, the brand new on there, but the one that I think finally actually did make the list was a nice little ditty called Love from Save Face. And
So
this happens at 1 minute and 50 seconds in.
This is where we have some dispute, and I'm not talking about La Dispute, because I believe this is one of my favorite drum fills of all time. I would consider this a drum fill for sure. So, but we'll chop it up after we hear it a little bit, because this is a great moment. This is my favorite song on the album, Mercy by Save Face, also being represented directly behind me. We got Mercy here by Save Face. I know my camera sucks.
Yeah.
But so let's hear this drum fill. Great build up into a drop.
I like the distorted guitar into it. It's nice.
Yep. Well done.
That is nice. After listening to it again, I still don't consider it necessarily a fill. I don't know what to call that, but it's nice. And again, I love the tempo ramp. Right, it tells you where to be mentally. It tells you what to get ready for in the song. So can we do that again?
Yeah, we'll do that one more time here,
get that
because
back
that's a
again.
good one. This is one of my favorite drum fills, as I consider. And this drummer is no longer actually playing with Save Face. His name is Chris Flannery. He very good drummer across all of Save Face's previous catalog. So let's hear it back one more time.
Yeah. The crescendo. Oh, man. That's the kind of stuff that makes me want to get on a drum set, man. Get a little electronic set going in my apartment. Just, slap around a bit.
We might have to talk about that more.
Would be nice. Nice for an investment there, huh?
Yeah, that could be pretty thick.
I have no freaking tempo, though, dude. Like, I can't even tap my feet to some of these songs when I'm listening to them in my car. Granted, because I'm driving, but... All right,
That's
anyways.
a skill. That's a skill.
It
That's
is.
practiced. It's not. No one's born with it, I don't think. Maybe they are. I don't know how drumming works.
Who does? All right.
All
So
right.
we have 2 songs left, and these are legitimate fills. The first one is actually an intro, though, so maybe this doesn't count as a fill. But it is the song "A Werewolf" by Sincerely. And this is a really deep cut. I had never heard of this band. And, Steven, you've seen them live, though, I understand. Right?
Yeah, I do want to take a second to talk about this band,
Okay.
because it these dudes don't have the following that they definitely deserve. So I saw these guys at Bloodfest. I'd never heard of them before, and you can see, 4.8K views. It's not bad. Like, they definitely have people looking at their music, but compared to every other artist we've talked about so far, very, very small.
Needless to say, not Death Cab for Cutie.
Yeah, needless to say.
Okay.
But these guys, I saw them live, Bloodfest, 2019, I believe. Maybe it was 2018. But these dudes just shredded live to the point where I had to get into them. I bought the CD from like, give me your CD. They only have an EP. Now they just released their second actually project called I forget what it's called. My bad, sincerely. But these guys are great. Definitely check them out. It's an instrumental band, which I think is part of the reason why they haven't gotten the traction. There's no vocals,
especially in emo music. Like in this is a genre area. I mean, a lot of times those vocals and what you're singing about. I mean, that's what grabs a lot of us, I would argue. So it's tough, but
these guys just shred.
Heck
so
yeah.
The drummer, the guitar, everything about this song.
I've added the song to my playlist after you showed it to me for sure.
Okay, and another one that doesn't have the drum fills but is equally as good, Mermaid Mansions.
Okay.
For anyone.
Good to know.
Check out Mermaid Mansions by Sincerely.
Maybe we could grab them on the podcast one day.
Oh, for sure. I think we could get these guys, and I'd love to talk to them. So let's go right into A Werewolf by Sincerely.
Oh, we got connection issues. That's dumb, dude.
It's dumb.
Awesome. Like,
and it's really that beginning part where the drum fill is, but
so
the nice thing
there's like a crash into some like tomfoolery, and I mean it just, and it never stopped. It was like just awesome. So
yeah, that's what I love about these guys. I appreciate the no vocalist because I can really appreciate great instrumental riffs.
Absolutely.
And these guys, because there's no vocalist, they make sure like every change is hard.
Yeah.
AF, let's say. Because you could just keep listening to this song and the drums are going crazy the whole time. The guitar is going crazy the whole time because they don't need to worry about making room for a vocalist. So
yeah, why? Ew, like that sounds like terrible music. Slowing down just for a silly vocalist. Get out of town.
I know.
Let's get
Let's
it
hear
again.
it back.
Yeah.
Let's hear it back one more time. Sincerely, A Werewolf. Oh yeah.
So nice. I love how the beginning of the song sounds like they're underwater too. I don't know how they do. How do you do the underwater effect? Something we need to know. Maybe someone.
It's just a mixing. It's a mixing effect.
Dude, it literally sounds like they're in an aquarium underneath the water in the aquarium.
I agree. Very cool. Very cool. Very well done.
Their
sound is great. Sorry,
it is.
Into the last one.
The last one. And again, not an exhaustive list, not only a top 10, but this one is nuts. So we're talking Caitlyn from Jank.
And we've made
3 minutes and 27 seconds in. And I think, of course, Steven, I would put it up there again. If I had to make the top one, it's up there with The Coast and Sobs Quietly on this list for me.
Definitely. This one is an all-time great emo Midwest drum fill. And this is who we were talking about before, Sam Becht, who is now currently the drummer of Remo Drive.
Okay.
But he's not hitting the drums the same way. And not in a bad way, but he's hitting the drums differently than what he was doing when he was with Jank.
Okay.
And there's something so good about his drumming in Jank. And this drum fill is pretty much the point to it and say, yeah, like that's why Jank drummer is just a god amongst men.
Okay.
Perfect epitome of that. So let's hear it. This is Caitlyn by Jank.
Oh, Caitlyn, you're
Oh.
nothing.
One of the greats. That's the drum fill.
I mean, as someone who's heard that song 1,000 times, like just knowing it's coming, like I remember just heard it come up, and the expectation involved with that is amazing.
Yeah.
Can we get that one more time?
Yeah, we'll drop that
Just
one.
right back into it. It's one of the ones that's too short.
So. The nice thing about this one, I want to talk about, is the panning.
Okay.
Panning, the drums are going all around your headphone.
Oh, I didn't
You know what
I
I'm
didn't even
saying?
notice that. It's like a dot 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 dot. I believe
It's
it. Let me
it's
get
going
that again.
from left ear to right ear. The drums are hitting your ear in different directions. So
Are you telling me if I listen to the song with my headphones backwards, it'd be like listening to a new song all over again? Maybe.
Possibly.
Let's try it.
Alright.
Okay, let's get it.
Here it is.
Oh, Caitlyn, you're nothing.
Yep, yeah, I got it.
Bounces around. It bounces around your head a little bit.
And I appreciate, I always like, to me in music, there's just as much value in lack of noise as there is in having noise at a time. And I think the simplicity of it in some sense makes it so great. And it's very raw and what's the word I'm looking for? It's not so much simple, but just clean. It's very clean and
yeah.
And it gets the job done for sure.
Very, very percussive in terms of the mixing. Like, because we were struggling when we were making this list. There's a lot of this subgenre that there's some sick drum fills that you can hear going on in the background, but because of the way the song is mixed, they don't show like Caitlyn does.
Yeah.
Like when you hear the Caitlyn drum fill, every drum is right in your face. That's the only thing going on. It's bouncing around, extremely percussive, and I think that is a key to a good drum fill.
Yeah.
Let's hit it
awesome.
one more time because it's Caitlyn and it's Jank,
Yeah.
and we love this song.
Oh, Caitlyn, you're nothing.
I could do that all day. I could do that all day.
I could too.
Wow.
What a list. I think we put together a pretty good list. Looking back at it now and listening to them, like, I'd be interested to hear though anybody else's information. If we miss something big, give it to us because I'm doing this for me. I want to know where these fills are and where to fill up my heart with these songs. So,
And there's a lot of things. We talked about a lot of songs when we were putting together this list. A lot of things didn't make it.
Yeah.
So, if you're at all curious, if you want to know what didn't make it, hit me up on Twitter.
might be able to leak it. Might be able to leak
Oh,
it.
for sure. If one single person asks me, I will leak out the entire list.
Wow.
So
that is it's tough.
So Twitter at Steve from AV. Look me up.
Okay.
If one person asks
You
me,
broke up a little there. It was at Steve at AVE, right?
at Steve STEVE from AVE.
Okay.
Steve from Av. Look
Okay.
me up. Drop a follow
Yeah.
if you like the content. Ask me the songs that we didn't put on the list, and I'll provide.
Where do you think we're gonna go next Saturday for coffee and donuts and music? I mean, there's a lot. I mean, you can go any direction. Screeching vocals, unreal bass lines. I think bass lines.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of things we could do. And, like, honestly, now that we started the segment, a lot of things come to mind in terms of we could do things that aren't even musical. Just say, what are some of our favorite cover arts that we've ever seen?
Ooh,
You know,
yeah.
something like that. So we got a lot of places we're gonna go with Saturday morning coffee. This little segment. Hopefully, we'll have Ryan on next week
Yeah.
because we always miss him on the podcast. And
For sure.
hopefully we'll get some real episodes out for you guys too, like we were doing before. Some new music episodes where we chop up the latest releases. COVID's been crazy. I haven't seen a ton of new releases that got me really excited, other than
But there's
the
some.
Remo Drive album.
Yeah,
The Remo Drive album, definitely.
that's special.
We will talk about on a podcast very soon because I know me and Marty at least have a lot to say about it.
Big
that could
fans.
dive into a whole episode with.
And I think, I mean, there's a lot being teased. I've seen a lot of singles. I see some front bottoms coming. I
Yep.
see, trying to.
Some Knuckle Puck singles. Some Knuckle Puck
singles, yes.
sprinkled.
Puck's got a new single, Anaphylaxis,
Yes.
that I'm just in love with right now. I listen to that 2 times a day if I'm in a good mood. I need to listen to it 4 times a day.
Yeah, I know
Alright.
what you're saying.
We're dribber drabbing too long. I think
We're
is
dribber
there
drabbing too long.
Anything in closing? Thank you.
Thank you for being part of this podcast.
Catch you guys on the flip side and gals.
Catch you guys. Peace out.
Not bad, dude. Not bad.